Ulapha ke Inga Mfundisi. So in case you're asking yourself ngubani ke Inga Mfundisi, she is from Ezwelihle, a township in the Overstrand near Hermanus. She passed matric in 2020 and she's currently studying online. And she's also a founder of Ekuphumleni Empowerment Solutions, which is a non-profit organization. She's also involved in other initiatives like Tutoring, Abandwana. She's a chess player and a coach. There's also chapter by chapter campaign that she's involved in, where they distributed food, books, and motivational talks in to communities in the Overstrand. And as well as she's an ambassador for the Desmond Tutu Foundation. And last but not least, Inga Mfundisi is Miss Teenager South Africa finalist, right? 2020 yes. And 2021. So Molo once again, Inga. Molo kunjani.
Molo putin diapila. Yes, I hope now you are all right.
Namke diapila. Ukhulela apha again? Kwelicala Hermanus?
Yes, I spent my lifetime apha, but although I was born in Cape Town. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cape Town kumnandi, but anyway, siyayeka leyo. Ustudisha ntoni ngoku?
I'm studying online, and it's a program, in fact, that is linked to my development work, which is Ekuphumleni Empowerment Solutions. Yes. So I'm doing that course on the side of pursuing accounting. Yes.
Brilliant, nice stuff. One thing about wena and the brain, Leila Pakuwe, is that you're always expanding and expanding. We extend nje kamanye amagama ifana nendlu. You just keep on expanding and expanding. And I'm wondering ukuthi, so far with everything we know about you, I'm wondering ukuthi in the next decade, Inga uzabephi. And it's a bit scary for him. Not scary in a bad way, but I'm like, when I look at it, Inga is going to be one of those big personalities, one of those successful young women in South Africa. Is that, am I correct in thinking that way?
That is definitely my path. I really dream of being Lomtu, where people can look up to and being an inspiration and being on a national and even a global stage where I can be a voice of abantwana communities that come from communities like Ezwelihle, etc. So that is definitely right. I do wish to be in that path and ndisebenzela towards that goal. Yeah.
Wow. Man, I'm glad ukuthi, so far we are part of journey yakho, the beginning of journey yakho. So at least lapha phezulu sabe sibalisela abazukulwana ukuthi siyamazi usisiza. Let's talk about tutoring kids after school. How did that start, and how do you do it? Nenzani kanye?
Yes. So basically, Leo part of tutoring actually just started up in 2021, where I realized that, abantwana abaninzi, they go to school twice or 3 times a week in COVID, and they spend their day, for example, where they are not at school, bephandle, bedlala, and they're not focusing on their books because there's no one to guide them. Their parents are at work, which is understandable. So I realized, how about inthathe abantwana badlala apha phandle while they're not at school and tutor them and prepare them for, whatever the tasks that they might have esikolweni. So I started from Elukhanyo Primary School. Abantwana that were part of my program, initially a chess program, they started recruiting abanye abantwana. But Inga is actually there available. Ba ufuna homework okanye, you want to photocopy izinto zesikolo ukhona and all of that. So it all started, in a very small way, and now it has developed into something where I can actually tutor abantwana. So yeah, that is how it started due to COVID, and now I'm mentoring abantwana that are from primary schools and as well as high schools to prepare them for exams. And recently there have been a group of adults that came to me and approached ukuthi mandibancede for the final exam preparation. And I'm so happy to see ukuthi this project of mine is growing, and to see ukuthi abantu they actually interested to learn, and they out there to look for his opportunities. It really warms my heart. So that's how it started, and it will hopefully grow.
So abantu abalalele maybe like aba interested like join classes zakho, ungakwazi ukuthi maybe usiyele ukuthi uzibambela kuphi class yakho?
Yes. So at the moment, we were having classes at the Ziyakhipha Community Hall. But now that there's been COVID and and all of that, I actually do it in our backyard where abantwana, they would come on, and youth and even adults. We would organize a date, and it's either a Thursday or a Wednesday, preferably low date that they are available as a group. But abantwana that I tutor for after school, I do that ngolesibini, where I provide books for them, which I'll also expand later on. So those are the dates. We are flexible, but also on the other hand, it's not permanent dates in COVID, you know. You know, on some days the space might not be enough for abantwana, so we're still struggling with that, but we still push on because children are hungry to learn.
So kule side tutoring, like you manage yonke lonto by yourself in terms of ukufundisa noku-recruit.
Yes, I do 90% of the work on my own, because Nyani, it's really something that I'm passionate about. But this year I was fortunate enough, you know, to find 3 additional volunteers that would really love to help, and they are really helping on the side to help recruit, and on days whereby they are available, baze, and they will help out, reach out, you know, and just provide their services without having to be paid. And it's something that is amazing to see the youth also wanting to give back. Yeah.
I was about to ask in the payment, seeing this, you know, lots of work that you guys are doing. So I was wondering, is there any payment involved? So you already answered that question. Tell me, yonke lento uyenzayo so far, tutoring, the chapter by chapter campaign, as well as the chess program, did it always start under a NGO leyakho, okanye it started nje from the heart and then you sort of put it into a structure later on?
Yes. So the funny thing is that when I started this whole thing, I think I was about 12 years old. I just wanted to share his skills. I saw that many children after school needed to do something, like I said, and it never started as an NGO. It just started as a thing whereby after school I would go to my mom's school and do my homework there, and children would come to me and see, wow, Inga plays chess, so I would teach them. And soon it grew because abantwana, they were so interested to learn. And then after that, Ziyakhipha Chess Club came to being, and sooner or later NGO came in 2018 to establishment.
Wow. Inga, at your age, someone is wondering, what's your petrol? Where do you go get energy, you know, to do all of these things? Who's your inspiration and who's behind you?
Yeah, definitely I have to say it's my parents, because without abazali and the family support, you'll always doubt yourself, am I going the right way? I know a lot of people, even in part of my family, they would be asking, you know, Lendo, it doesn't give you money, so what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated? And I would tell my family, Kuti, this is a passion. It's something that is in the heart. And I've been doing this for 6 years, and I haven't been paid or remunerated from that. And Abantu, they'd be surprised from a community, what, you don't charge Abantu and all of that? And I would say, no, I actually do this from the heart because I can see a gap whereby abanye abantwana bane opportunities and others don't. That's how the campaign got chapter by chapter also came to being under this NGO. So I do everything from the heart because it's really what I love doing, and I want to see a change in the community.
Big up, Inga. Siyakuqhubela kuloo ndawo. Talking about the chapter by chapter, uthethe ngokudistributor ukutya nencwadi and so on. Let's talk about ukutya kuqala, and you also mentioned indaba ye-pandemic.
Yes.
Let's take it from low point and then siya phambili.
Yes. So last year we all obviously had to face into COVID-19 and lockdown, etc. So abantwana obviously had no options, you know. Most of the schools could no longer feed abantwana for a feeding scheme, which they usually did because schools were closed down. So I thought, you know, this is so saddening to see abantwana in front of my house that usually play soccer and all of that. They would come by past and say, Inga, we don't have food. And it really touched my heart. I was like, what can I do? You know, I don't have anything, but I can still make a plan. So that is how it chapter by chapter came to being. I said to myself, instead of of just giving the children food, how about I make them come to me so that they can read and learn while I give them food? So I started adjusting sandwiches. I would just put butter on and and after that we were able to get some sources of funding whereby abantwana would get fruits, nutritional food packs. Abantwana that were part of our program, and that is how Chapter by Chapter came to being, because I thought if I'm teaching these children to read, if I'm teaching these children to keep on pushing into yabo yefunda and curriculum and to focus on that while feeding them, I'm shooting two birds with one stone. And I was thinking I'm changing lives chapter by chapter. So that is how it all kind of started to unfold during a pandemic which started last year.
Now it makes sense. Chapter by chapter. Changing lives chapter by chapter.
Yeah.
Just in case ukhona umuntu who got confused xa usithi umongi mali, it doesn't mean money, it simply means itrinke upop. Itrinke upop, right?
Yes.
Yes. Ufaka nje la powder emanzini and that's it. Isukile une drink. So that's what Inga used to offer to the kids. In terms of motivational sessions.
Yes.
Can you explain how do you do them? Do you go into a venue mhlambi and have the community there or kids there? How does it work?
So motivational sessions briefly started this year, Nazo, because I thought, I needed to motivate abantwana. They were starting to lose hope. So I say motivational sessions because many people think, I would organize a day and bring a lot of people in. And I thought to myself after a while, that is not really what I was thinking of in mind. And how my motivational sessions go about is that if I see a group of children who are standing estradweni or by the shops in the corner, I would take 10 of them and take them to the side and just motivate them for a while. And that is how motivational sessions started. And I actually took my own group of abantwana, which are part of my program. There are over 80 of them now. And whenever I have the time, they would come to me and, come for a program, and I would motivate them. I would take half an hour of my time and motivate them. So that is how my motivational sessions go in the time being. I don't necessarily go to schools, but I want to start everything from ekasi, elokshini, and see the children that need as motivational sessions would not go to a venue etile to go and listen. The children that need to hear this, abantwana bahlele ezitratweni, that would not go there. So that is how I approached a motivational session, by approaching abantwana that are sitting on the side that needed my word most. So that is my motivational session.
What's the trick wesebenzisayo to get the attention yabo from whatever they are doing estradweni towards you and what you have to say? And how do you keep them engaged for as long as you can?
Yes, I think the most important thing is always coming back to your story. Abantu, they will know who Inga as this amazing person, but they don't know ukuthi, where did I start my struggles? Ukuthi, I also grew up kunzima ekhaya and all of that. And once I start with that, abantu bazawuthi, wow, ayindimanga ndedwa. Even this Inga that we see here actually started from zero, and she's not even on the highest point, but she took her time to come and tell us about this. So I thought that is how I start approaching things. Even teta nomtana ndimbona ukuthi they need that motivation. Now I bring them to the side and say, listen, I was also going through that point in my life where I was doubtful. I was questioning what is wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Why am I suffering? Why is my family suffering? And I would start bringing it to that point, because once umntana umcaptivate with your story to show ukuthi they are not alone, they will start listening. And that is how I started approaching things and not putting myself on a step higher than them whereby they feel, oh, okay, uzokwenza ntoni kanye, so I really want to bring them as close as possible to see ukuthi nabo they can resonate with my story.
Wow. Abantu abadala bakutrusta njani, because I'm looking at the fact that usebenzile with Ilandoki chapter by chapter. You were able to go into communities like in Mount Pleasant, Stanford, and I believe ukuthi somehow you were with abantu abadala. So what is it that you use Gengoku for abantu abadala to actually say, okay, she's tiny, but let's give her a chance?
Yes, I think I remember about a year ago, I went to Stanford to deliver books, and I had a large group of abantu abadala standing in front of me, and they welcomed me with warm hands. And I told myself, you know, they are listening to my story as if ndingumntu omdala, and I think it's really how you approach things, how you stand firm. Don't talk to someone as if, you know, you are afraid. You must stand firm, respectfully, but stand firm so that they can see ukuthi you've got something to put on the table. Even though I'm a 19-year-old girl, I can still have much wisdom or something to put on the table, no matter how young or no matter how old. So that is how I approach things, whether I'm talking to someone who's older or I'm dealing with older people, with organizational work that I'm doing. Being professional and just being approachable as much as possible will put you on the line whereby you are able to communicate nabantu abadala and allow them to listen to your story and to carry out to their respective communities.
Have you ever had issue mhlambi whereby umuntu omdala okanye abantu abadala, because you know abantu abadala abamnyama,
Yes.
there's always that thing that ungumntana ndimdala kuwe and I know better. Have you ever had ezo situations, and how did you handle them?
Yes, I can definitely attest to that. I have had a situation whereby people, especially in this chess program that I have, the older people were doubtful, Kuti, what is she here for, you know? Why are you telling us? Because we are older than you, have a higher standard of you. And I told myself, you know, I really have to sit back down and reflect, because I was shocked, Kuti, you know, people, they weren't accepting of Lendon Dizoi, bring her to the table. I had to reflect and come back again and approach them, in fact, and talk about who I am and what I came to bring to the table, because it can be tricky, you know, when, especially like you said, usebenza nabantu abadala, and especially of our culture. It's a very tricky situation coming to an older person and telling them how you work with things, how you deal with things. So it can be very tricky, and all situations, they differ. So I try to approach them as much as possible as I can. Yeah.
No. Sike sikhulume ngaba different, and then like, you know what, I can imagine kufila kanjani when like some of the people like also yawabathatha xa be reach out kuwe, like beg explainela how you've managed to ukubasusa maybe from this dark place to like babe ne hope, like I would say.
Yes. It really warms my heart, like you mentioned. And I remember umntana this year, in fact, came to me and said, Inga, we don't even have isibani ekhaya. No. And at that time, we literally did not have anything to assist her with. And Ndati, what grade are you? She mentioned her grade. And I said, you know what? I will take some of the things that I have. And I took my backpack. And I remember that time there was this lady, Estrato, and was asking, Inga, you're giving away ukarimo wakho child to this child. And I said, yes, I am, in fact, because she will value it, and she needs it more than I do right now at this stage. Lomdana approached me personally because she loves education. She wants to learn. She didn't ask for imali. She came to me and said, asina sibane endlini andikwazi ufunda, I can't go to school ngomso ziyavulwa izikolo. And my mom was not able to generate income to even wear school shoes. And that is what really warms my heart. And for that child to come back to me and say, you know, I'm improving and you've really changed my life, even in a small way. Even just saying hi to mtana and say, you know what, keep on doing what you're doing. And that it really warms my heart. It's just the best thing to hear from, especially someone that is of your age, of the area that you grew up with. So yeah, it's very heartwarming to see abantwana coming back and, you know, attesting to how much you've done. Yeah.
I also know that through program yakho ye chess, that since abantwana started playing chess with you, they started improving esikolweni, and somehow there was even feedback from the teachers and the principal or say primary elukhanya.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's amazing to see how chess can actually change mind yomntana. And just touching on improvement, you know, abantu had a mentality ukuthi to enter chess you have to be mathematically, you know, advanced. And after I actually told the teachers, I said even that child of umana code 4 can actually start chess. And the teachers, after even 3 months say chess at the school, they came back to me and said, Inga, abantwana have such discipline. You can tell the children who are part of your chess program, they are mathematically improving. Not just abantwana that are already geniuses, but the children that were struggling in maths are actually improving. And you know what's funny is that I didn't know that chess actually improves the English language abantwana, because they go to as tournaments and they meet abelungu and all of that, and that exposure, because they have to communicate in chess. In chess, terminology is all in English. There's no way to translate a chess piece or a chess terminology. So zonke zazinto, it builds up. And the teacher said to me, Aibo, Inga, these children come with such huge words, a class in yam, and I'm so shocked of how confident they've become. And that to me was just amazing to see. It actually improves the English language, yabo. Their math skills and just their discipline in general eklasini, because it just needs so much focus that you need literally to stay for 2 hours or go focus gaming, and that instills the discipline ukuthi, you know, differentiating from wrong and right. And that is just amazing to hear even feedback from people ukuthi it's actually improving abantwana academically.
I think this proves a point, and not to throw a shade kwizikolo zethu, but we all know ukuthi kwizikolo zethu i-English ifundiswa nge-mother tongue. Whether kwisikolo sabeSuthu English izafundiswa ngeSuthu, uba kwisikolo zabaXhosa English ifundiswa ngeXhosa. So I've learned personally ukuthi ukuze ukwazi ukwi-public school, ukuze ukwazi communicate in English kakuhle, there has to be ezinye sources outside. Umzekelo movies. Like now we found out ukuthi, you know, if they play chess, there's improvement. Things like reading, you know, this extra stuff that you have to do in order to supplement la andishotayo. So I think this now proves exactly the point ukuthi we are nideka Inga, a person like Inga eklaleni. Noba kwephi na community, there's an Inga that's needed there to help out with the challenges that we have, including in Dobana. You talked about discipline, that abanye bantwana they were not so disciplined endlini, but as soon as they joined your program, somehow behavior ya change, correct?
Yeah, definitely. It has made such a huge difference. I remember this one child came to me and said, "Ndifuna udlala chess." And I was like, introduce yourself and all of that. And Lamdana introduced themselves, and I remember abantwana bam, they were all sitting there on the floor starting to practice, and they stared at this child who was approaching me funny, you know, didn't even greet me and all. And I could see the faces ukuthi, wow, they are shocked because they are not used to this. And that just shows it discipline yabantwana chess.
Okay. There's Ziyakhipha6to8 Chess Club. There's the Overberg Chess Club. What's the difference?
So Ziyakhipha6to8 Chess Club is just for our small community, right? But ayikho i-Overberg Chess Club. For example, kuko Ziyakhipha6to8 Chess Club, kuko i-Harmonious Chess Club, kuko i-Swellendam Chess Club. So zonke eza clubs fall under i-Overberg Chess Federation. So i-federation that facilitates tournaments, that facilitates ukuthi abantwana, they are able to go to these places, and sometimes helps out with equipment wherever it's needed once in a while. Yes.
And you've been to tournaments with abantwana that you personally have taught chess, and they won.
Yes. So abantwana bam, they started playing tournaments in 2015, and it was really, really rough. I remember that time we almost didn't make it in my registration fees. Anyway, we developed from regional tournaments. After one tournament, abantwana bam, they were selected to go to the provincials, and that was one of our first of many victories. And it's really amazing to see passion abantwana. We've been to national tournaments, to South African National Junior Chess Championships, which is the biggest chess tournament up in Mzansi, and it's usually taking place annually, but due to COVID now, online. So thanks to technology, children can still play online. However, i-registration fees, they still pose as the obstacle, especially kubantwana that come from rural communities. And I've seen and I've been communicating with other coaches from rural communities, from Komakailicha, saying, you know, Inga, it's still difficult to send our kids. As passionate as they are, as great as they are, registration fees are extremely expensive for our kids. But we always persevere. Abantwana, they always come every single week. Whether there will be a tournament Klonyanga or not, they are still here. And I would be like to them, guys, we don't have to practice today because weather echo right and as a Dali tournament this month. Yeah. So must we back in October. No, coach, we're gonna come and practice. We ready for the tournament. Whenever it comes, we want to be ready. And you know, it's just amazing to see passion yabantwana. Yeah.
Well, I think they are taking after you. Yeah, I think it's that simple. That it's, you know, they're taking after you. So therefore, this is why they have this overwhelming passion for what they are doing now with HS. Inga, there's a lot to discuss with you, and you've got quite a lot of information. But the most important part, you are mentioning what you're having challenges with funding.
Yes.
What would you like to say to umntu ohleli phandle who might have means zokunceda?
Yes. I would like to say that, you know, any input the organization yethu goes a long way. And I always tell people that if you'd like to help us, you are more than welcome. There you'll be able to find more details about what we do. And if you're able to follow those pages, _empowerment. So ekpumleni in small letters, _empowerment, on Facebook and Instagram, it's the same handle. You will see our children there. You will also see our email addresses where you can email us if you'd like to have further information of contributing any amount. I always say any amount goes a long, long way. And then we will be able to send you our bank details, although they are also on our Instagram and Facebook pages for whoever is interested. And I also want to add, you don't have to contribute imani. I know many people might be wondering, what if I don't have imali right now? And I say that is still amazing, because you might be having a book that has been sitting there that you're not reading, and that will help umdana that loves to read, will help umdana that is part of our program, and you can be able to donate that and drop it off at Ezwelihle. Or you can be able to email us and contact us as to where you'd like to drop off the books that you have, as well as chess equipment. I know a lot of people actually have chess equipment, according to Abantu on social media, say they've had chess equipment sitting there from their previous family members that have been playing chess. Whatever that you might have to contribute will really, really go a long way for the organization yet.
Okay. Utoni cannot lie to you and say, we are going to chess. And it's obvious, I don't know how to play chess. Is it too late for Mnano Tony to learn how to play chess?
It's definitely not too late. And what I love about chess is that it's flexible. Whether you are starting at 7 years old or 98 years old, it just needs your passion, your thinking, and you are good to go. So definitely, why not?
Okay. We're going to check something online, class figure endlini. How long will it take for us to get the idea of how it works? It all works out.
It all depends. Other people catch chess. Other people catch chess after one session. Others take a week. Others take 3 days. So it depends on how you catch a process, a concept here chess, and yeah.
Okay, Tony, we'll see who's slower between the two of us. But Inga won't be around. Yeah,
I'm great to go to test.
Okay, Inga, what types of books do you guys have you distributed to as communities, and what types of books do you deal with in terms of teaching abantwana to how to read?
So we've obviously distributed books to the Just Care Center in Mount Pleasant, just to highlight the impact that we've had so far, COVID-19. So we've delivered books to the Just Care Center. We've delivered books to the Lucanyo Primary School. We've delivered books to Waldorf, and we've also delivered books in Stanford at the center there, which helps with children that read. So last year I was able to fundraise over 2,000 books from Elena's from my high school of Hermanus High, and they were able to contribute over 2,000 books, and those are just reading books. But I also want to highlight that now that I've got this campaign of tutoring, you are more than welcome to send in textbooks that you're no longer using, or study guides that you'd like to give off to our program. So any contribution really helps.
I feel like sis share something on the side. If maybe ungazi sabantu subjects that you focus on tutor.
Yes, thank you for that question. So I only help because the subjects which I did, which is accounting, physical science, mathematics, and obviously engineering, but many children don't do it at their schools. So I just focus on mathematics, accounting, and physical sciences.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we've been watching Inga doing all this hard work, and then the next thing, boom, Inga uyamodelisha ngoko. Where did that come from, Inga?
The funny thing is that I never wanted to model ever, because I didn't see a purpose of modeling, given the fact that Ngumuntu that loves to work on the ground. So I saw this advert about Miss Teenager South Africa, and I was like, okay, let me read. What is the purpose of this pageant? Is this just a beauty pageant, or what else do they have? And I looked through a website here, and they mentioned there specifically that Miss Teenager South Africa is an empowerment program for women and girls that will allow them to escalate the platforms zabo that they already work with, whether it be NPOs or charities. And I was like, wow. At that stage, I really needed a platform whereby I can talk more about the advocacy, and I use that as a stepping stone to talk more about what I love while doing pageantry, because it's something that is, so huge right now, given the fact that we can see also mini tunzi that are gracing our stages through advocacy zabo. And I was so inspired by the pageant to escalate a platform ye NPO and youth development and the inside.
And there's a picture of you on social media. You were traveling in style. That's what I want to say. And where did they take you to?
So the competition was in Empress Palace, Gauteng, the Nationals. And my family came in full force from Joburg, as you saw from that picture. They were so supportive, and it's something that will forever be in my mind, to see the support, the great support, because whatever you do, if there's that much support, you will always be pushing forward. So that's where the finals were at Joburg, and there were over 200 of us contestants, and I made it to the top 30 nationals in South Africa, and it's something that is a huge honor for me to be on that stage and representing Ikaslam.
And there's that point where they ask a question, where the judges would pose Ilanduki question to a contestant. Yeah, because this word likes to play with me. So tell me, when that moment comes and you know that you are being watched by a lot of people, I know you're a confident person, but isn't there, that...
Definitely. As confident as I might seem, I know I'm a public speaker and many people know that. But, whenever I'm on that stage, I always back with that, second of doubt where I'm like, whoa. What if I say something wrong? What if I flush? What if I get my message wrong across? But I always reassure myself that, whatever that is supposed to happen will happen. And I get in on that stage with so much confidence in mind that there are so many people that are looking up to me. And if I can be as authentic as I can, it's the greatest possible way. Because I think the nerves that come in, I thought to myself, it's preparation that counts. And I thought to myself, I must just get in there and just be original, authentic, and carry myself the way that I always do.
You mentioned Indaba parents. I keep hearing you talking about parents. I do know Indabana Utatako. He's the former whale crier. One intelligent father I have seen. He doesn't know that I've been watching. Now, what I would like to know, yes, as intelligent as he is, I have not met your mom. We only talked briefly on the phone. The things that you are doing now, is it stuff that they inspired you to do, or they had their own dreams for you and then you went sideways, and how did they handle it?
The funny thing is that people always think ukuthi my parents have been pushing me from the start, or they've inspired me in some way. And the funny thing is that no, I actually did this all on my own, and they actually supported it. So like I said, this whole thing, my mom was like, okay, let's do this. If you want to do this, let's do this. She supported me wholeheartedly. My dad came in, and as soon as I started the NPO, he started doing paperwork. He started filling in proposals, doing my constitutions, etc., etc. So, yonke lento, I pitched this idea to them, knowing that even maybe they might not be so supported, I'm going to prove them wrong. So, funny enough, they actually did support me, and it's amazing to see both my parents being supportive of Lento and Funu Yenza. As unique and as different as it might be, and unpredictable as it might be, they still supported this idea and initiative from the start.
Wow. Siyabulela kuwe tata, siyabulela kuwe mama. For the support you give Inga, and we can see the product. Nancy product from which.
Yeah. And if like Sakumula from our previous interview, Sino Indipil, where he was also talking about parents. He mentioned the part yoba abazali, they would only support if into yako is positive and in a direction. So I feel like lando yoba bayak supporter, it must be a sign yoba wenza like he is in the right. Yeah.
You mentioned struggles.
Yeah.
Is there one thing that you would want to, share, that someone can relate to, a situation that you found yourself in and somehow managed to continue and be where you are now?
Yes.
With that having happened to you?
Yeah. I think many people have not actually heard me say this, but I did actually face a lot of struggles entering this space. I was 12 years old when I entered. I was coaching against heavyweights, that were experienced, that were professionals over 40 years of age, and me entering that space, I was in a huge struggle because Ababantu, they were sort of intimidating me, kind of pushing me away and not being supportive, because they could see the force and the power that I had in the table. So that, motivated me. And as funny as people might see it as, because I was 12, and I also think about it, Guti, what made me carry on when 40-year-olds were literally telling me not to do this because it's a waste of time, because I'm not experienced enough, that because like I said, and co-experience, I'm not going to be able to manage the situations and struggles. There's sports politics, I'm not going to be able to do this given the fact that I'm even a girl. And those factors came in my mind. I was like, I was flushed for a second. I doubted myself. Wow, if sports champions, the big guns in the game of chess say this to me, then where is the hope? How am I going to be able to achieve this? So when I talk of struggles, I talk of that, and I faced that throughout till this day. In fact, there are a lot of struggles that I face, including the ones of people that aren't supportive. But most importantly, the struggles that I face are the ones of the people that try and push me away from my passion. And that to me is one of my biggest struggles. The people that actually intimidate and try to get me away from Lento by pushing me away from my passion and pushing me away from what I want to do and how I want to achieve it.
Ukukhala sometimes in private?
Yes, definitely. I would have breakdowns and ask myself, Inga, why did you do this? What were you thinking, in fact? Your friends are busy out at school. They are living their normal lives, and here you are planning a tournament that's going to need a few thousand rands that you don't know where you're gonna get. Here you are, you planning your school career. You doing this. You do what is going on in your mind? I would sometimes cry, and my mom would be like, Inga, what is wrong? And I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I can't explain it. So yes, I do go through some breakdowns, but I pick myself up through faith and hope and perseverance. I'm able to make it through till this day.
Okay. The Desmond Tutu Foundation, we ambassador. How does one become the ambassador of the Desmond Tutu Foundation? Like,
actually, I was scouted by them through social media. One of their marketers from the Desmond Tutu Foundation sent me a DM on Instagram. So I was like, who's this person? And at first I was skeptical because there's no one from a huge organization that would just send me an Instagram message. I mean, Gubanu Inga amongst so many influential people that I see, So at first I was like, I left the message, in fact, for about a week. But yeah, that is how it started. They scouted me because they saw the work that I do through the power of social media. They were able to reach me and ask if Ukuti I can be their panelist at first for a courageous conversation that they were going to have for Youth Day, which was amongst Reverend Frank Chikane and so many other people on the panelist, and Chris Pesadenote, etc. And it was a great honor. And it started from that conversation. Thereafter, I was asked if I can be ambassador, youth ambassador for Desmond Tutu Foundation. So that is how it all started. And I'm so honored and privileged to be in a space where I can be amongst such influential people.
Congratulations, Inga.
Thank you.
Abantu may think ukuthi ungulomntu serious kangaka, and maybe you don't have downtime whereby at least you can relax routine. So Nanotoni, we've been snooping around and we found out ukuthi you've done about shark cage diving, you've gone to about whale watching. Tell us the experience in Binjan.
Yeah, it was amazing. And touching on the fact that a lot of people think I always spend my time to sebenza, I actually spend most of my time skateboarding and adventuring. I love exploring Indao. So I am actually a self-taught skateboarder. I've been skateboarding for the past 6 years, and I started in primary school, and I'm enjoying that. And I think many people know me as either the chess girl or the skateboarding girl. I remember every time I go to the taxi rank with this skateboard Sam, the taxi drivers would be like, "Ipimoto yakho ukhwele nayo namhlanje taxini." Otherwise, you will have to add another 10 rand for your car because you're taking too much space on the taxi. So yeah, it would be that fun thing. But yeah, I do actually have a lot of downtime. I make time even if I don't have time. So planning is where it all takes place.
Okay, well, shark cage diving. We are John Manzini uphakathi kwe cage. Isn't it scary when sharks manage to get us and just ubona izinyama?
It is. It's very scary. In fact, when I went, I did not tell my mom that I'm going shark cage diving. I said to her, I'm going whale watching because, my mom, she is so scared because given the fact that I'm her only girl, so she's really protective. But it was, I can't even explain it. These experiences, I always tell people, how about you go and test it for yourself? Because it was amazing. As nerve-wracking as it was, seeing those sharks being fed the fish, etc., was scary at first, and seeing it on videos. But being there and experiencing everything, it was just...
Okay. You've also been, Ilanduga, a co-host of a particular talent show.
Yes.
Yeah. And how, first of all, were you the one who approached them or they approached you to become a co-host?
In fact, the talent competition is actually a show, in fact, that I started. And I became the co-host along with someone that is also part of my school and that I will be co-hosting with. In fact, the finale will be at the end of this month. So yeah, that is how the Great Talents session started. A lot of people that know me, like I said, know me as a very active person, but I am a public speaker and a poet. So I decided, let me have a platform whereby children can perform the arts through the show.
Poetry. Wow. Ungasinika nje ipisinyana. Just ipisinyana nje.
I am an African, a woman born of the Kasi community, standing firm in my ground. Inga Mfundisi, Tikela noni nswaibani. I stand firm as I am an African.
Wow. Impressive. Inga Mfundisi, xa sifuna ukulandela kwi-social media, khasibize zonke i-handles zakho.
Yes, so you are able to reach me. I use Facebook and Instagram, and you are able to reach me as Inga_Mfundisi on Instagram, small letters. Once again, Inga_Mfundisi, and Facebook it's just Inga Mfundisi.
Okay. Any last words?
My last words would be go for your dreams, in fact, and never let anyone tell you that you are not worthy of them.
Wow. Sisi, enkosi kakhulu for coming through. Siyabulela ngobukho bakho. If we could show people what were the struggles trying to get this young lady here. Now, like, think about it. If ubhizi kangaka ngoku.
Yeah,
remember what I said?
Give up, like impela, but now we also understand as well. Yeah.
Remember what I said about the next decade? If ubhizi kangaka ngoku, and imagine if classes simfuna in the next decade.
We must make sure money access ubuyisebenzisa manje. Like
yes. Inga azizilahla le number lesifumeneyo sizayigcina hoping ukuthi izawuhlala isebenza up until yes. And ulahlekelwe iphone by the way.
Yes. Which I lost during as adventures dizenzayo as a shark cage diving.
Sorry.
But luckily I was able to get my SIM and get access to people to communicate.
Okay.
Yes.
Shout out to your network provider. Nangona ke they made you wait for 4 days, but it's all good. Shout out to them. In the end, you've got your number back because Utoni once lost eyakhe and he couldn't get it back. Yeah. He couldn't get number.
Actually, me being a record. I'm not sure if yours was record.
Oh, yes, mine was luckily record.
Yeah, so Tony, you learned a lesson. Rika, bro.
Yeah. Hey, into your shop, those are quick.
Yes. Inga, till next time. Saphinda sibonane enkosi kakhulu ngobukho bakho.
Ndiyabulela kakhulu and thank you so much to all the listeners.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.